The next important leading case in the same year in 1981, decided by the apex court at the Supreme Court, is relating to Kadra Pahadiya vs. State of Bihar, which revolves around right to speedy trial, how it is falling under the ambit of right to life and personal liberty, and also it relates to judicial efficiency. So the very laws involved in this important leading case and those precedents cited by the apex court, as particularly Hussainara Khatoon's case, and then we will do the analysis of the judgment delivered by the apex court in this particularly important landmark judgment, that is Kadra Pahadiya vs. State of Bihar, and also we would like to analyze certain complex legal concepts which were simplified by the apex court, as in particularly what is writ petition and how commitment of court of sessions and what is legal and how it is falling under the very ambit of Article 21 of the Constitution and the very obligation of the Sessions Court and Magistrate Courts, and finally the very conclusion through the important landmark judgment in this important leading case, Kadra Pahadiya vs. State of Bihar, which reinforcing the right to a speedy trial and judicial efficiency as falling under Article 21 as adjudicated by the Supreme Court of India in 1981, addresses the critical issue of prolonged free trial. Prisoners in the state of Bihar, this writ petition emerged amidst growing concern over a significant backlog of cases where numerous prisoners languished in jails for over a year post commitment to the Court of Session without trial commencement. The petitioners presented by Kadra Pahadiya and others highlighted their immense suffering due to delayed trials, exemplified by four young boys who were acquitted after 8 years of unjust imprisonment. The case underscores the systematic inefficiencies within the Bihar judicial framework and seeks judicial intervention to uphold the fundamental rights enshrined in the Indian Constitution under Part 3 of the Constitution. So, in this judgment, the Supreme Court expressed deep concern over the alarming number of under trial prisoners in Bihar who had been suffering from extended periods without trial, highlighting figures such as 18,133 cases pending for over 12 months and numerous others awaiting trial for up to 7 years. The court deemed the situation intolerable and a violation of fundamental rights, drawing upon its previous ruling in the Hussainara Khatoon's case. The Supreme Court reiterated that the right to speedy trial is implicit under Article 21 of the Constitution, which guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. The court directed the Sessions Court to expedite the trials of cases committed before December 1976, mandating their disposal within 6 months. Similarly, magistrate courts were instructed to complete inquiries within 3 months. The judgment mandated the provisions of legal aid to unrepresented prisoners and called upon the High Court to assess the judicial infrastructure, including the number of judges and pending cases, to identify the need for additional courts The writ petition was adjourned for further proceedings till 1981 August. So the very precedent cited by the apex court, the judgment heavily made reference to Hussainara Khatoon's case of 1979, where the Supreme Court established that the right to a speedy trial is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. In that case, the court recognized that undue delays in judicial process can amount to a form of torture and violation of the individual's right to life and personal liberty. The Hussainara Khatoon precedent laid the groundwork for subsequent judgments, and by emphasizing the judiciary's obligation to ensure timely justice, so the Supreme Court's legal reasoning in this case is anchored in the constitutional mandate of Article 21, which safeguards the right to life and personal liberty. The court position that the prolonged pre-trial detention without trial initiation or completion contravenes this fundamental right by outlining the distressing statistics of pending cases. The court underscored the systematic failures in the Bihar judicial system. The judgment mandates actionable directives such as setting strict timelines for trials and ensuring legal representation. To rectify these deficiencies, the court's approach reflects a proactive stance in enforcing constitutional rights, holding state authorities accountable for judicial delays. So this judgment has profound implications for the Indian legal system, particularly concerning the administration of criminal justice in states with overwhelmed courts, by reinforcing the very principles established in Hussainara Khatoon's case. The court set a clear precedent for expediting trials and reducing judicial backlogs. This decision empowered higher courts to intervene directly in state judicial processes, ensuring that prisoners are not subject to indefinite pre-trial detention. Additionally, the directive to assess and potentially augment judicial infrastructure serves as a catalyst for systematic reforms aimed at improving efficiency and accessibility within the judiciary. So the very legal connotations which were concept with complex notes simplified by the court. So what is a writ petition? A writ petition is a formal legal complaint filed directly in a high court seeking judicial intervention to address a violation of fundamental rights or legal entitlements. And what is commitment to court of session? This refers to the process where a higher court or court of sessions take over a case from a lower court, that is the magistrate court, for trial, typically for more serious offences. And what is legal aid? Legal aid involves providing free or subsidized legal services to individuals who cannot afford legal representation, ensuring equitable access to justice. And what is Article 21 of the Constitution that guarantees the protection of life and personal liberty to individuals It states that no person shall be deprived of these rights except according to the procedure established by law, and also regarding the very sessions courts which handle serious criminal cases while magistrate courts deal with less severe offences. Both play crucial roles in the criminal justice system at different judicial levels, as it was simplified by the apex court regarding these very complex concepts involving the judgment. So now we would like to conclude the very judgment delivered in this very important leading case, Kadra Pahadiya and others vs. State of Bihar judgment serves as a pivotal reinforcement of the right to a speedy trial under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution by highlighting systematic delays and issuing concrete directives to expedite judicial processes. The Supreme Court underscored the judiciary's commitment to upholding fundamental rights. This case not only addresses immediate injustices faced by under trial prisoners in Bihar, but also set a broader precedent for judicial accountability and efficiency across India. The emphasis on legal aid and the potential expansion of judicial infrastructure further aim to create a more just and accessible legal system, ensuring that the right to timely justice is not merely theoretical but effectively realized. So, this is all about the judgment delivered by the apex court in this important landmark judgment, that is Kadra Pahadiya vs. State of Bihar in 1981.